My name is Frank Burkard Jr. I'm the owner of Burkard Nurseries in Pasadena, California, and I'm here to give you tips on how do I harvest seeds from a vegetable garden. Well, number one, some of the first tips you need to know in harvesting seeds from a vegetable garden is, number one, do you like the vegetable that you grew? And if you did like the vegetable you grow, it's a very, very simple thing. Many varieties of vegetables will come true from seed, some of which they might be crosses, and you may get varieties from the older days of what they crossed. So sometimes it's a surprise. But basically, if you like what you grew, you're going to get something that's going to be fairly similar, or you may be unexpectedly excited about some new variety that you crossed. So the first thing you must do is the plant that you really, really, really like. Let's say you grew some soybeans. Now when these guys get nice and brown, what you'll do is the shell would be a little bit darker than this, so it'd be about the color of this brown. And then what you do is you would just take this open, and the seeds inside, and what you would do is you'd pull out the seeds that are okay. Here, this is a dud. We have seeds that did not form completely. So then what you have to do is you go through and go through until you find seeds that are formed completely, and then you've got a seed that you're going to save. So this has already been dried, so this would be like this brown color. Then what you would do is then you would go, okay, this seed is a soybean, and I like to use Ziploc bags. And what I'll do is I'll put down soybean, and I always like to put the date, 9/7/10. And then what I'll do is I'll put it inside here, and then I've got it for this coming next year when I'm going to plant it. And what I'll do is a lot of times when I'm saving all my seeds, what I'll do is I'll just take something like this. This is a licorice container, and I'll put them inside here, and I've got them all together. It's big enough for me to find, because a lot of times I'll lose things if I put them in my desk drawer. Another technique to gather seeds would be, say for example, on a tomato. This tomato is called Violet Jasper, and Violet Jasper is a fairly newer variety, and they're crosses. So when you're collecting seed, like I say, sometimes it will revert back to what you had. Sometimes you'll end up with something that made the cross. So you may get a cherry tomato with a black tomato. So it's always kind of surprising on some of these new hybrids. And a lot of these are heirloom type hybrids, so they're crossed with the old varieties. And one of the simple techniques would be to take a seed such as this. This is a paper towel, and I just squash the seed. And what I do is I just spread it around and then let it dry for a couple of days. When it's fully dry, I scrape the seeds off, and then what I'll do is I'll put them inside my plastic bag, and then I'll put it away. But it's very important, seeds have to be dried first so there's no moisture, otherwise they'll rot inside this plastic bag. Another technique is they'll use an old dust rag, and they'll just squash it again, put it like a paste, put it in the sun, dry it out for 2-3 days, and it's ready to go inside our little collecting bag. Basils, a lot of people like to grow their own basil, and that pretty much comes true. This is cinnamon basil, and what we'll do is we'll take this. This is loaded with all sorts of seeds. I won't even clean it. I'll put it inside here. I've already got the date. I put down what it is. I'm ready to go. And another technique is when you are ready to go, you can go ahead and crush it to get all the little seeds when you're ready in, like say, 2-3 months. You know, again, when it's going to be warm season, you'll be able to collect the seeds. Another idea is carrots are very easy to grow from seed. This is a seed pod of a carrot. And again, this is dry. We just let it dry on the container. What we'll do is we'll put it inside here, use a black marking pen, write down carrots, the date, close it up again, stick it inside, and we're done. I'm Frank Burkard, and these are just simple tips on how do I harvest seeds from a vegetable garden.